guys, it's Rachel here with Senza Tempo Cane Corso. So, I'm doing a combination video here because, basically, today I got a call, or actually a text, letting me know that they were going to be picking up Belladonna today to go to her new home. And I didn't really have any forewarning, so unfortunately, I kind of had to do a combination video of her goodbye video and kind of her meet my dogs video because she's still here, and I figured why not, because we have her daughter here. So I think she has an upset tummy. We ran out of adult dog food. I ordered on Monday, but it hasn't gotten here yet, so I need to start ordering my food actually from the distributor instead of, I have like a person that I go through, and I think it would be faster if I just went through the distributor. And I feed Farmina dog food. It's really good dog food, but I can't just go to the store and pick it up. So I have been feeding them the puppy food, the Farmina puppy food, which is much higher in protein and fat. And so I've had some loose stools because of it, and she probably has an upset tummy. So anyway, Belladonna. Belladonna comes from Avalanche Cane Corso. Lee Chapman and Kimberly Chapman are the owners of Avalanche, and Lee Chapman is actually one of my mentors. He's been in the breed for a very long time. He's extremely knowledgeable, and he just tends to stay to himself. He stays out of the drama. You'll hardly ever see him post anywhere. In fact, one of the only times I've ever seen him post was on our Facebook group that I added him on to. It was a mentorship group that we have, and he actually saved he saved her dog's life because she thought that her dog was just hormonal because there was a female in heat, and he was able to identify that the dog actually had bloat or an obstruction, and she was able to get the dog to the vet and save his life. So very, very knowledgeable individual, is not given the credit that he deserves in the community, but that's not saying much considering the community. And I'm sure if any of you tuned into the live stream last night, you'd understand why. It's a pretty volatile community. So yeah, Belladonna is from his production. I love her very much. I'm very, very upset with myself for not getting x-rays before my females have their babies. Had I gotten an x-ray, I would have known that something was wrong. Come here. What's this ball? You want the ball? You want the ball? Let's go get the ball. So I would have known that something was wrong. I didn't do the x-rays because I ultrasound, and to be honest with you, I'd kind of read some stuff on it, and people were like, well, do you really want to be exposing your dog to radiation, twice a year? And good girl, you funny girl. And so I just kind of was like, whatever, the ultrasound is enough. And now I know better, and I will x-ray every single time. And that's kind of the lesson that we all learn, is we have to learn from our mistakes. And we don't know what we know until we know it. Get funny girl. Look at you, funny girl. And so, you're a funny girl. Yes, you are. And so, so it cost me this gorgeous female. Like I said, I love Belladonna. She has an excellent temperament. She's super sweet. She has a phenomenal head. She has great length of body, great rear angulation. You stepped in poo-poos. Yeah, great rear angulation. Her top line could be better. Her upper arm's kind of short, but that's not saying much with most Corso these days. And as we all know, there are no perfect dogs. We breed to better, and her daughter has an excellent top line, and there's also one female in a show home out of her as well, and also has an excellent top line. And as you can see, her top line's not horrible. It's just not straight as a board like you want. She also has a really good croup. It's a funny girl. Excellent movement. So I really love her. She had really great health testing results, but nonetheless, that's kind of where we're at. I did speak with the woman who got that other female out of the same litter about getting a puppy off of her. That way I can still continue with Belladonna's lines. And she said that was fine. So I'm really excited about that as well. Belladonna's a pretty sizable female. She's not gigantic, but she's probably around 100 pounds. Like I said, she's got really great length of body. Whoop, I just dropped it. Go get it. No, she's watching. Good girl. Funny girl. So yeah, so I absolutely love her. And I'm really going to miss her a lot because she's such a sweetheart. I hate the fact that I have to get rid of her, but unfortunately, it's just the way it is when you have a pack like I do. And she's already kind of suffered the brunt of that. I don't know if you can tell, but come here. But if you look closely, you can see that she has a couple holes in her head already. Just bite marks from canines, from the alphas, giving her corrections, what we call a face bite, nose bite, muzzle bite, whatever, which is that's the way that dogs communicate. It's the way that wolves communicate. And we all know that dogs are nothing more than domesticated wolves. And so there are still going to be a lot of behaviors that are consistent among both of them. And so she's not seriously injured by this. The dogs are able to handle it, but I personally don't like to see it. It's I don't think that it's fair to keep a dog in an environment that they're being subjected to behaviors that it wouldn't be had she had her hormones. Because the truth is that they wouldn't be picking on her the way that they are if she had her hormones. You know, and the reality is that I've had her for a while and the dogs haven't done that to her. So it's better for her to be in a home where she's not going to be subjected to that kind of behavior. Go ahead. Good girl. She loves puppies, and an absolute lover of babies. Loved to be a mother, was an excellent mother. Mothers all my other dogs. In fact, Mazikeen, every time she's around Mazikeen, she just sits in front of her little box and gives her kisses and hangs out with her. And when she lost her litter, as you guys know, I had 2 little adoptees and she adopted them and loved them and wanted nothing more than to be with them. She's fully recovered from that now. Happy, completely content with life. And she doesn't care about, her lack of hormones or whatever. But like I said, the dogs, it's a problem with the dogs. But what's really cool is that the home that she's going to, that gentleman purchased a puppy off of Preacher and Aria. And so Belladonna is going to get to kind of adopt that puppy and raise him as her own. And so she gets to be with her extended family. Preacher is her extended family. And I think that's pretty cool. So she won't be alone. She'll be on a lot of acres. And I think it's all, really good. The gentleman did join Facebook so that he could update me with pictures of her, which I'm really excited about because that always means a lot to me whenever I get to see updates of my dogs after they leave. Are you a funny girl? Are you a funny girl? So her stats, like I said, she's about 100 pounds. I would say she's around, 24 inches tall, maybe 25. Oh, you're a funny girl. Yes, you are. You're a funny girl. Yes, you are. You're a funny girl. I would say an area where she really shines is in her length of body. She's got phenomenal length of body. Her head, like I said, is really nice too. It tapers. Her muzzle tapers, but her expression, it's just really top notch. Really, really top notch. So we kind of covered all of it. Her father is a really nice dog. She's 100% European lines. The one thing about Avalanche is that they will not touch American stuff. And every breeder is going to have their own opinions and kind of beliefs on that, you know what I mean? And I think it's important to respect that. There are some American breeders that will only work with American lines, and he's a breeder that will only work with European lines. And so I kind of went back and forth. There was a time when I wanted to only work with European lines. I really loved Preacher, or still do love Preacher, obviously. Love Belladonna. I really like the dogs. But I will say that I do think that there's going to be some genetic diversity issues, and there are aspects of the American lines that I really like. I do think that the, reproductive health of the American lines, in my experience, has been a little better than strictly the European dogs. And so for me, that's just been my personal experience. I've had, Velocity was kind of hard to get pregnant. Belladonna wasn't hard to get pregnant, but she did absorb her litter. And so anyway, that's just my, my personal experience thus far. Granted, I'm just getting started, and that very well, could change. So I think it's important to recognize when you are, our opinions are shaped by our experiences. Girl, don't you watch my chicken like that. Hey. So our opinions are going to be shaped by our experiences, but sometimes we need to recognize that we may not have enough experience to really shape an opinion. And that may very well be the case here. But just speaking strictly upon the experience that I have of breeding Cashmere, breeding Blondie, Blondie did have a reabsorption issue, but it was because I gave her a medication that's known for causing that, so I can't really fault her for that. And after that, she had a really good litter. The blockage that she had, that's just complications with big dogs. It happens. I will add that recently I've had an accusation thrown at me. I guess, as I told you guys, there'll always be something, right? Like, I got accused of not health testing. Then I showed that I health test, proved it. Well, they quit with that. Well, I used to get accused of not showing my dogs. Now I show my dogs. Really showed them very far with Nirvana, and now they've got a new accusation, which is that apparently my dogs have more problems than other people's dogs. They're claiming that my dogs are inherently unhealthy. Now, as far as their reproductive health, and I find that to be very interesting because, I don't know of any other breeder that talks about the issues that they have when whelping, ever. I've never seen another breeder talk about it. I've seen one breeder in Europe comment about the fact that a female of his had a litter of puppies and then she died. The next morning they came in and she was dead, but that's the only one. And I have multiple mentors who have been doing this for a very long time. And in fact, Lee Chapman used to warn me whenever I had Cashmere, used to tell me, Rachel, don't get used to this. He goes, you've been extremely lucky with her. And he said, that's not the norm. And so I think that, like I was talking about, that it's important, come here, not to make, judgments without knowing enough information. I think that a lot of people in the community, and it's not a whole lot of people, but I think that there are some people, that are making judgments about my dogs without knowing all the facts, because there are not other breeders that are talking about issues like this. There's no other breeder that I'm aware of, other than Reese, with Sprezzatura Cane Corso, who's my partner and best friend. I don't know of anybody else that is transparent about what's going on in their program. So of course you're going to think that nobody else is having problems because nobody's telling you they're having problems. It doesn't mean that they're not having problems. It just means that you don't know about them. And so it's like, if somebody only gives you one set of data and you have no access to the other, any other data, then of course you're going to think, if you're stupid, you're going to think that. If you're intelligent, you would be able to look at the situation and say, well, I only have one set of data here. You know what I mean? Only one breeder is actually being honest about this stuff. Just because people aren't saying anything doesn't mean things are not happening, right? These breeders, I don't know of any other breeder that's also honest about, well, I would say that's not true. Vicky Glisson is honest, but most breeders do not advertise even every litter they're having. You know what I mean? They just don't. And, most of them, you call them and they'll put you on a list and then you get a puppy whenever something comes up, but they don't announce every single breeding that they're doing on their website or on their Facebook. So a lot of breeders kind of work in the shadows. Whether that's deliberate or not, I don't know. I know that there's a lot of bullying in the community, so it's possible that it's for that, because if you, like, for example, people call me a puppy mill, despite the fact that I have way less litters than most people in the community, especially big breeders. You Google the big names in the business, I don't have near as many litters as they do, but you'll never know that because they don't announce their litters. You know what I mean? You'll never know. So anyway, I do think that that's a very silly thing to say. For one, like I said, nobody knows what other breeders have going on in their programs because they don't tell anybody. And B, I'm working with the same lines that I would say pretty much 90% of Europe is working with, and even in America. These are not, the breed is not huge. So it's not, if you buy a Corso, the chances are, especially if you buy an American Corso, your dog is going to have relatives that fit with like 90% of everybody else's Corso. And the same thing holds true with European lines. And they all go back to the same stuff. So when you insult my dogs and say, oh, they're unhealthy, you're insulting everybody's dogs. Because I have both American lines and European lines. So it's not like there's something special going on here that causes my dogs to have issues that other people's dogs are not having. And so anyway, so it's a very ignorant statement to make, but there's a lot of ignorant people in the world, so I'm not surprised. So anyway, so that's a little tangent off of, Belladonna, but nonetheless, it's there. I really hope to do a lot with Sookie, her daughter. Her head, we'll wait and see what it does. It's not the prettiest right now. It's actually very similar to her father's. And so we'll see. She does have a nice wide muzzle, which I think will be really good. I'll probably put her to this, he's basically American and European lines. This male that I got from Ohio, I'll probably put her to him and balance out that head type. And so I think we'll get something really good off of that. But overall, she's a really nice dog. She has a decent front, really good top line, very good rear. And like I said, the head's not, we'll just have to see what it does. So yeah, I guess that's about it. It's sad. Like I said, Belladonna is one of my favorites. She's really easy. I like easy dogs. She's not super aggressive. She's not annoyingly submissive. She's just a good dog. She listens. She likes to cuddle. She's super sweet. The only thing that would ever annoy me that she would do, from time to time, if she wanted out of her kennel, like if she was in heat and she didn't want to be in her kennel, she would sit up. She would sit on her butt, put both of her front paws on the front of the kennel, and rock it back and forth. And so you'd hear this, banging from the kennel room. and that was annoying. But you know, my dogs are not particularly used to being kenneled all the time, so whenever they are, for reasons that, you know, like I said, are you know, we just can't help it because it's a heat cycle, they don't really take too well to it. But you know, it is what it is. So but yeah, other than that, I guess that's, like I said, about all I can think of. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comment section down below, and I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. But you know, I hate to say goodbye, but like I said, I'll still get to see her. And I think many of you have come to find out that the dogs do very well in good homes. When they leave and they go to good homes, they adapt. And as long as they're fed and taken care of, they're happy. And that's the important part. We'll get updates, and I'll try to share them with you guys as I get them, like I do with other dogs. So, as far as her age, she's 3 years old. Belladonna is 3 years old. So, anyway, hope you guys are having a good day, and I'll talk at you later. Bye.